Interact's Onboarding Management is a very sophisticated solution that allows you to define your onboarding process and integrate it with recruiting and hiring so that all key onboarding tasks are completed by the right people and at the right time. Let me show you some of the setup capabilities. Here you'll see that we can define onboarding officers, we can define our own onboarding activities and types and our own documents and forms, and we can choose also other elements like uniforms and offices that will be assigned and business cards and medical exam. Everything that relates to onboarding pretty much is done in the system. So the first thing that you do is you set up the general flow and the general behavior that you want from the system. And that's where we can define, for example, when the onboarding plan needs to be created, whether you want to link that to hiring and to recruitment, and what will be the onboarding stages that you're going to be using. So we have a pre-arrival or before the first day, we have first day orientation. And basically, as you can see here, first week, 90 days after probation, and after 1 year. Each one of them, you can give it your own caption, call it what you want, choose the process champion and process owner, and define the rating that you're going to use if you're going to rate these activities, and what weight will it carry in an overall score, so that you can actually monitor things in detail. Now, as I mentioned, you will have different onboarding officers, and these onboarding officers, they will be given the particular onboarding stages for which they are given responsibility as either a process champion or a process owner, and we will also determine which organization units they will be responsible for. So because in a larger organization you may not be responsible for the onboarding of everybody, you're going to divide the task among multiple people. So you can do that based on organization unit, or we could set it up to do it based on employee groups, for example, too. So then once we have set up, we're setting up basically the framework now. So we have defined the general setup, we've defined the officers that will be involved in onboarding, and then you see the individual onboarding activities. You can define as many as you want, you can create new ones as you like. And here you have some basic rules that we define. Who is the activity going to be assigned to? This particular welcome activity that I have defined, and who will be the onboarding officer. Are there any activities that should happen before this? When does this activity need to start? And so we track this in days basically, and who needs to be notified and when do they need to be notified. Now this is really the framework. Like this, you will have all your activities defined. In any organization there will be a set of standard activities that you need to go through when you onboard people, and these might differ based on the type of employee or that you're onboarding, of course. Now the result of that will be that you're going to get what we call an onboarding plan. That onboarding plan will be auto-generated when you hire somebody, and the onboarding requests can be auto-generated and sent out to the relevant people. So that includes security clearance that needs to be done, medical exams, assignment of office space or assets, issuing of business cards or uniforms. All these things will create their own set of requests, and you can also have that list of documents and a checklist of documents that an employee needs to go through. You could have specific forms that they need to fill in when they go through onboarding, and the onboarding module itself consists of its own appraisal process, where you can actually have different appraisals at different times throughout the onboarding process. So let's take a look at an onboarding plan. We'll look at the plan for Janet Michael, and you will find that under the activities, we have, for all the different stages that we have activated, we have a set of activities defined right now, and each one of those activities is classified under its own type, has a time that it normally takes to complete, has a start and end date, and has predecessor and successor activities associated with it, as you can read right here. On top of that, they are assigned to individuals, and we have a clear understanding of when they need to start. There could be an action which results in an email, for example, that is sent out to the appropriate people, and the status of this activity is tracked. Now, the status updates are going to be entered by the relevant people who have been assigned the task. So you have process owners who can provide their comments and feedback throughout the process. You have process champions. You have employees that can provide feedback also. And on top of that, we have a rating and an outcome that is tracked. Now, all of this will be filled in through the self-service and can be done through mobile devices and so on, because you will be informed of any overdue activities that have not been completed yet. So there is really no limit on the number of documents, forms, checklists, activities, and requests that can be issued as part of your onboarding process. Everything depends on how sophisticated and demanding your onboarding process is. There is no need to make it complex if your needs are simple. But if you have a very highly regulated industry in which there are a lot of important steps to be followed during onboarding of employees, then really you can really push to the limit. Otherwise, you can keep this down to 10 activities and one or two people only that are involved in tracking these things, and you will be able to generate your reports as you require and use the product as a very simple and straightforward solution. The onboarding has an opposite module, which is the end of employment module. We'll go through that later on for end of employment planning. Keep in mind that everything will be managed through self-service. It's not like the HR department has to fill in all this information about onboarding. The supervisors and employees will be notified of tasks that they have to complete. They can conduct the appraisals online, and they can see all the particular items here that are pending. Here you see Barbara having access to 3 plans in which she is involved, and this is where she can provide her feedback on the specific tasks that are to be completed. So both the employee or applicant will be able to access the onboarding information, as well as every single user that's involved in the process. And reports will be generated to ensure that HR has a clear picture of all the progress of the different onboarding activities.